Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Guys, today, the kind of episode I like making, and it's a reaction video, but it's a special one. Let's talk about the Magnavox. Let's talk about video game history. So, I hope you accompany me here in this journey, and the first thing I want to show you is this 1972 Magnavox Odyssey promotional film. All right, let's take a look at it. And I want you to look at everything that's included here. Now remember, this is 1972. For those of us Gen X gamers that were from this time period, we may remember this particular machine. We might remember seeing it in catalogs and stuff. But, for those of you that are younger, I want you to look at the ideas that were in this particular console. And we're going to dive really deep into this. This is the kind of video you enjoy. Make sure you subscribe, guys. Most of the people that watch these kind of videos are not subscribed, right? So go ahead and do so because it really helps the channel. But let me tell you, you're going to be surprised how many things were ideas back then and then were fully developed, right, by the second generation, which would be the Atari, then the third and fourth, and so on and so forth. But let's check it out.
The electronic game of the future, and the family's best foul-weather friend. Odyssey can be attached to any brand television receiver with a screen size of 18 to 25 inches.
All right, guys, let me pause here because for us Gen X gamers, this is the way we connected our video games the very first time, right? This is the way we had to go. And we had to use a flathead screwdriver, not even a Phillips, right? And we would go in the back of our TV, put in something like this, and then attach our video game console to it. They're going to make reference to something else that's never talked about today. Check this out.
Either black and white or color. And an ordinary screwdriver is the only tool needed to attach this Odyssey antenna game switch to the antenna terminals on the back of the television set. Once the antenna game switch is attached, you can select the TV position for regular television viewing, or the game position for playing your favorite Odyssey game. Odyssey is played through an unused VHF channel of your television set.
VHF or UHF is something you never hear about. As a matter of fact, my grandkids have never watched network TV. Though that's how far removed we are, generationally from our kiddos today. I mean, if you told me back in the day that, I wasn't going to be watching channels on any of those channels, that was pretty much dead when cable came along. But I never saw a day where TVs weren't even going to have that capability, and they no longer do.
It operates on 6 common-size C-cell batteries, which come packed with the unit. Simply connect the game cord to the antenna game switch on the back of the set and to the master control unit. And plug the player control unit cords into their respective sockets on the master unit.
Two things of note here. We had detachable controllers, right? Detachable controllers. We already had that here. In television, didn't do it on their console. Atari did, right? But the detachable controllers right here in 1972. Not only that, in case you missed it, this uses batteries, right? This uses batteries, and this will come up later. Let me show you.
And your Odyssey is ready to begin entertaining your family. Each Odyssey game uses one of these special game cards.
Game cards. Okay, this is the predecessor to game cartridges. Now, we'll go over who actually got the patent for the cartridges, but right here, at least this is a precursor to the cartridges. Number one. Number two, if anything, you could say these are the first game cards, right? And, at least they have some sort of a label. The ones I got with my television boxes don't have anything. Let's go.
Which plug into a slot at the front of the master control unit. The game cards activate lights on your television screen that bounce, float, or extinguish on contact, depending upon the particular game you've chosen to play. For example, to play Odyssey Tennis, you insert game card number 3 into the master unit. This activates 3 lights, 2 representing the players and 1 representing the ball. Press the special tennis game overlay into position on the television screen, and you're ready to begin an exciting, fast-paced tennis game.
Overlays. Remember, we had overlays later on with the Vectrex, right? Machine that we had. Of course, you had them on the Intellivision. And as a matter of fact, for those of you who are familiar, they're still used in industry, specifically manufacturing, in order to check parts for quality sometimes, or to make certain kind of readings, but, you know, they're still around.
The horizontal knob on the left side of each player control unit allows you to move your player light in a left to right or right to left direction. The vertical knob on the right side of each player control unit lets you move your player light in an up and down direction. And the reset buttons on top of each player control unit bring the ball back into play should it happen to go off the court. After you've learned the basics of the game, you can increase the challenge of Odyssey Tennis by increasing or decreasing the speed of the
Could this be the very earliest version of the Karma engine?
tennis ball with a special speed control on the back of the master unit. And when you want to razzle-dazzle your opponent into submission, a special English control which fits inside the horizontal knob will make that tennis ball do everything but stand up and talk. 12 different and exciting games come with your Odyssey.
12, not 6, 12 pack-in games. Look at that. John Alvarado, are you listening?
Each following the same basic play procedures. In addition to Odyssey table tennis, other sport games include hockey, football, and skiing. For the youngsters in the family, there's cat and mouse, haunted house, and Simon Says. Rounding out your Odyssey game series are such challengers as Submarine, Roulette, Analogic, and Geography.
Look at all those different titles, right? And I want you to see how many things here actually came to pass in the industry.
Each Odyssey game comes complete with all equipment necessary for play, whether it's one of the 12 standard games or one of several optional games, which include a special shooting gallery.
A light gun, 1972, right? Before Duck Hunt. This was the first Duck Hunt.
Complete with gun and 4 target overlays. Depending on your hunting skills, you can choose between sitting or moving targets. Also available as an option is this special organizer case with separate compartments designed to hold all games and equipment.
A case, right? Remember how popular cases became, you know, with the NES, with the Game Boy, even with the Xbox. Well, here it is. Not only that, it's portable because why? It uses batteries. It uses batteries. Now, guys, the reason this machine was able to be made, right, it's because of the person who invented the first video game console, Ralph Baer. And let me tell you, if you guys remember, right, if you guys remember who had one of these prototypes, oh, we all know, it's the beloved leader. Let's hear from him himself about how he got this box and what have you. He actually featured it in one of his videos. Check this out.
Now, I left the very best for last. And remember earlier I was talking about Ralph Baer, the person who created the video game console. Let me show you a little clip of the video that he made in 1968 with the brown box.
Well, here we are, playing ping pong when we ought to be working. There's a ball volleying back and forth, one free ball, plus one net, courtesy of a local CATV station. Here's my partner Bill, and 9, we're going to play ping pong for you in a minute. But before we do, I'd like to show you the controls that we're using. which are part of the plug-in module, the ping pong plug-in module, gaming plug-in module of the all-purpose box we talked about earlier.
Pretty cool, right? That's
Pretty cool. Let me just stop to say that, Tommy fans really miss Tommy, and haters miss him even more. When is he going to come back? We don't know. As we know, he's been betrayed by the board, by John Alvarado and one Phil Adam. They took away his company, but at least we get to see him here for a bit, and his collection of the brown box, which was the prototype that was licensed out to Magnavox.
pretty historic stuff. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Ralph Baer's, one of his original brown boxes. This was given to me by Ralph Baer. He was a very dear friend for many years. In fact, if you watched my PBS special back in 2010, I featured Ralph on the show. And yeah, so Ralph made this with his own bare hands. I had him sign it as well, Ralph Baer. Of course, these were never publicly, commercially released. I hear there's about less than 10 of them in the world.
All right, now as far as collectibles that he had, hopefully he didn't sell that one, because that one would be the one to hold on to. Like, that one is worth a pretty penny, let me tell you guys. But why is this important? Why are we talking about Ralph Baer? Why are we talking about Magnavox? Because there's a few business things here that I'd like to talk about. And this goes back to 1967. That video was made in 1968. And because Magnavox and Sanders and Associates actually had a lot of these patents, they were considered by many as the first patent trolls, right? So Ralph Baer and Sanders Associates, they create this video game console. They license it out in 1992. The first Pong prototype is installed at Andy's Caps Cavern in 1972. These are some important dates here. Let me just do this here. Why is this important, right? But because they patented these ideas, right? This is the importance of intellectual property. Magnavox and Sanders and Associates went on to sue many companies, and they made about $100 million. That's right, $100 million from all these companies that produced knockoffs that infringed on their patent, right? That's why that is important, and it really is. And then we have to reflect on the history of this particular machine that we were just looking at. Look at all the things that they had. They had the light gun already, right? They had overlays which were used. They had detachable controllers. They had what was considered to be, right, the first physical media, right? So if you look at, if we go here and we just say, who invented the video game cartridge, it's actually credited to this gentleman here, Jerry Lawson. We all know that. Why is it different? Well, because the patents are different, right? Here, you're just basically through these cards, it's a program how to move. Basically, I'm using layman's terms as much as possible, as much as I understand them, of the difference of the patent. You're just using the program to move these three lights in different ways, up to three lights, and his is actually to play a different program, right? These are different characters. These are separate different programs to make the machine act differently. But clearly the inspiration, right, for physical media that's plugged and unplugged came from here, even though it didn't have official cartridges. This is how important this invention was. This is why Baer is credited, right, with inventing the home console. It really is. And if you look back in big picture of it, you can see how many things were in the Odyssey, right? Not the brown box, because the brown box was basically just a Pong, but once the Odyssey came out, they put all these additional bells and whistles. It was portable. You had a case, you had overlays, you had detachable physical media, and you had a light gun. This is why the Magnavox Odyssey is so important to the history of video games. And I think nowadays, especially with the passage of time, when people think of video games, they might think Atari is the most important one. They might think Nintendo is the most important one, or the very first to do a lot of these things, when actually it was the Magnavox that started a huge revolution and gave people a bunch of ideas on how to make video games. All right, human. Look, I enjoy talking about this stuff, even though my voice is going out. This is the kind of stuff I do on my free time. When when I'm sitting in the can or something, this is the type of stuff I research, and the type of stuff that I like talking about that I don't have many people to talk about with. So that's why I make these videos, and they're not the most popular one, guys. I realize that these videos are not for eyeballs. These videos are for people that love video games and love the history of video games. And I know you're watching this video because you're one of those. And guys, for that, I do thank you. I thank you for your subscriptions, for your likes, and just for stopping by my channel and paying attention. All right, humans, I will catch you on the next one. I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care.